All right. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about the CIA exam and the CIA certification, because what we find is most people think they need it, most people want it, but the reality is most people actually don't need it. So let me go through and talk a little bit about it and share some stories with you, and really kind of give you the truth behind it, right? Because I sit here and I see a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people are trying to sell you courses on it, and what they're telling you, not that they're lying to you, but they're not telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I just wanted to come on and talk about it, because I actually just talked to somebody about this last week, and let me share their story a little bit about it, to see if this is relevant for you, because I know there's lots of people that are out there that are studying for it. There's lots of people that spend years actually trying to earn the certified internal auditor designation. And so let me just kind of share a little story, and then I'll talk about whether it's worth it or not. And again, you're going to have to determine whether it's worth it for you. I'm just going to talk about a few things today for you to start asking yourself some questions about, so you can determine if it is right for you. Okay. So I was talking to a gentleman this last week, and this person has been in audit for a while. They've been working in audit for quite a while. They've been working on the CIA exam for 4 years. Okay. Now, most people, it takes between 2 to 5 years for them to pass all of the exams and get certified and get your experience. Okay, so that's not necessarily unusual, but let me share a little bit more about his story. So as I said, he's worked in audit for a while, and he has been stuck in the same position for a while. He hasn't been able to get promoted at his organization, and one of the reasons for that is, well, you don't have a certification. You need a certification to get promoted. So he's been working on the certified internal auditor, as I said, for 4 years. Okay, now here's what's happened: is he has taken the exam 10 times. 10 times. Okay. And he has not passed any of those times. And so, hello, Facebook user. If you let me know who you are, I can only see Facebook user. We can chat as we're going along here. But so anyway, so he has gone through. He's been taking and working on the exam for 4 years. And so he's purchased materials. He told me he actually purchased, I think, 3 or 4 different people's study materials for the CIA exam, and he's gone through and has been studying for those. Now, he took the first exam 7 times. Whoops, got to get my fingers right. 7 times, and didn't pass. He took the second part 3 times and hasn't passed. Now, there is nothing wrong with this person. He is a smart person, who you would think should be passing, but he's being held back in his career. And like I said, 4 years, 4 years that he's been doing this, and now the problem is, after 4 years, he has to reapply and re-go through everything again. Right. So he reached out to me because he's feeling tired. Right. He's feeling tired. He doesn't know if he wants to keep doing this because he's spending a lot of time away from his family. He'd like to buy a house and do some other things and kind of move on with his life, but he feels like he's just stuck here in his career because he hasn't been able to pass it. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, I talk to people like this all the time. Okay. And so here's the first thing to kind of consider, right? Especially if you're starting off, and trying to decide, is this something that I want to do or not? Well, I think I need it. Um, it. Oh, here we go. John Green just said it took him 10 times before passing as well. So let me talk about that too, because I think, especially I hear from a lot of people, they're really excited. They just come out of college, or they're just starting, or they want to get into internal audit. And so, they go out, they register, they start paying for the exams, they pay for training materials, they start studying. And then what ends up happening is a few years down the road, a lot of those people quit. Okay. Because again, a lot of times people are kind of told, hey, it's really easy, just go do it. It's something you got to do. So they jump in, they start spending money, they start spending time on doing this. And then after years, they give up. They've spent a bunch of time, they've spent a bunch of money, and they don't have anything to show for it other than being tired and being stuck in their career. So here's the reality. I'm giving you the reality again. This is kind of, again, you can Google this. Don't trust me. You can Google it, but on average, so there's 3 exams that you have to take. Most people have to take, the average for the first part of the exam is 2 to 3 times, which means most people have to take that exam 2 or 3 times before they pass. Okay. For part 2, it's 1 to 2 times that people have to take that on average before they pass. Part 3, most people have to take it 4 or 5 times before they pass. So let's just do some math really quick. Okay. 5 times taken one of the exams, 2 times of taking another one, we're at 7, 3 times to take the first part. There's your 10 times of taking the exams. Now, John, who's listening right now, said it took him about 10 times. This person that I talked to last week attempted it, had taken it 10 times. Now, why I want to talk about this is because a lot of people get lured in and thinking, oh, it's not very much. It's only a couple $100 to apply. It's only $250 per exam. But when you take that exam 10 times, let's do math, folks. 10 times 250 is $2,500. $2,500 that most people are spending. That's just for taking the exams. Then they're going to spend another $1,000 to $2,000 typically for study materials. Or like the gentleman I was talking to before, he's gone through 3 or 4 other people's programs. He's probably spent $4,000 to $5,000 of additional money on the study materials, right? So for him, he's spent $6,000 or $7,000 and he still doesn't have a CIA. Okay, did you hear that? He spent $6,000 or $7,000 and still doesn't have a CIA. He's spent 4 years of his life and he still doesn't have the CIA. So, is it right for you? Is it worth it? Well, again, you have to realize and know that you're going to have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money. I try to kind of equate it to people of, it's kind of like going back for your MBA. And I did that. I went back for my MBA when I was working full time. So I was working 50, 60 hours a week, and I was doing my MBA at night. It took a lot of time away from my job. It took time away from my family for me to do that. Now, it was the right thing for me to do. It's the right thing for some people to do, to take the CIA exam. But again, you have to ask yourself the question, if whether or not it's worth it for you to spend that much time and effort to be able to get that certification. Okay. Because what I'm telling you, and I put a link in here, there are other internal audit certifications you can get, which cost you less money overall and take you way less time. In fact, some of these other ones you can do in a few days or a couple of months. And so I'm putting it out there for people again, just so that you know that there's other options. Because here's one of the other things that people, again, I'm not saying it's a lie, but it's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. Because the IIA, I have seen them in several marketing things that like to say the CIA is the only internationally recognized certification for auditors. That's bullshit. Okay. I'm going to call bullshit on that because, first off, it's not the only internal audit certification out there. There are lots of them that are out there. It is not the only internationally recognized one. Many of these are internationally recognized and have people from all over the world who are getting them. It is the only internal audit certification that IIA recognizes, but it's not the only one out there. Okay. So I want to set the record straight on that. Now I know too, I think it says Facebook user, so I'm not sure. I know Lynn was on and Rob Berry was on too. Just said I had a staff person who took the exam 12 times. Okay, so again, don't believe me. I talked to lots of people about this. This is the experience that people are having, and you can just see from people that are on listening right now. This is in fact what it's actually taking people. Okay, so again, is it right for you? You have to decide, but you have to know that you're going to be spending that kind of money and that kind of time to be able to get that certification. Okay. So as I said, there are other options that are out there, but so let's talk a little bit about this. Again, and like I said, I don't want to keep this too long. I tend to talk. I'm already at 11 minutes, but I just wanted to share with people, because here's the problem, right? Is I have my CIA. I took my CIA back in the late 90s, early 2000s, 20 some years ago, right? And I was lucky. I like to say I'm intelligent. Oh, and it was Lynn who said their staff person took it 12 times and they never passed it either, right? So there we go. Just like the gentleman I talked to last week. So like I said, I took the exam. I was fortunate. I passed it the first time. Okay. I was a straight A student in high school and college. I'm very good at taking tests. Um, and so because of that, right, maybe I was just better at answering the questions. But one thing that you'll find about that exam, and again, I might have trouble passing it today because it's very academic, right? And so, in fact, what ends up happening is a lot of people who have experience that have been out of college for a while, they find it very difficult to pass the exam. And the reason is it's set up to be more academic, like what you're taking in college. And in fact, the questions are really kind of tricky, okay? Because they do a lot of test taking tricks, right? Because they don't want everybody to pass. That's another one of the myths that I need to throw out there and I need to tell you and be honest about, right? Is again, we don't get official numbers, but from everything you can search out on the internet, only about 40% of people pass the exams. Okay, which means 60% of the people fail. That's why so many people take it so many times. Now, it's probably done on purpose because again, a lot of people like to think, well, if we limit the demand or we limit the supply, then that means the demand must go up, right? And again, like I know John just said, it's made him about 300,000 more since he passed the exam. So I want to address that too, because here's the reality, and I totally agree with John. You need to have some sort of certification in order to move forward in your career, right? If you're not investing in yourself, if you're not doing some of these things, it's going to be difficult for you to get to the manager, director, CAE level as well. You need something on there, right? Where I'm getting at and what I'm trying to explain to you is most people think that's the only one you can get. And so that's the one that they go after. There are other options that will also help you earn more money now, get a new job, get promoted. In fact, that person I was talking to last week, one of the reasons they reached out is the certified practitioner in internal audit, one that C-Risk Academy has. Somebody in his company actually went through and took that. Now it's $2,000. Okay. And so again, a lot of you might go, $2,000. Holy crap. That's a lot of money. Well, what did we talk about before? This person that I was talking to last week has already spent that more than that, just taking the exams, plus another probably $2,000 to $3,000 or $4,000 for testing materials. So they've spent $6,000 or $7,000. So $2,000 compared to Got to get my fingers right. 6,000, that's a hell of a deal, my friends, right? And so, don't let that, because that's an all-in price. That's all you're paying, right? You're in, you're done, you get it done. So let me go back to this person, right? Because he reached out and he said, "Hey, this person in my company just got this certified practitioner in internal audit." And he told me the name. And so I recognized the person's name and I said, "Oh, yeah, she just got this," right? So literally, like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, she signed up, she went through the course, she got certified in about a month or month and a half, and she got a promotion at work. Did you hear that? Right. And so this guy that I was talking to, he's been held back, right? He hasn't been promoted. And he's like, "What am I going to do? Do I start the CIA exam again? Or do I try one of these other ones like my coworker did?" And so as we talked about it again, it's like the choice is yours, right? You can choose to do what you want to do, but you know that you've already spent 4 years on it. You know you're going to spend more years trying to get that. Do you want to wait to get promoted for another couple of years? Or do you want to do something that's quicker, get on your resume, get promoted, start earning more money right now? So, not a surprise, he's thinking about doing the same thing, right? Of using one of these other certification options that just doesn't take as much time. It doesn't take as much time. It's not tricky. It's not, intended to make it so people can't pass. So, again, at the end of the day, I've gone almost 17 minutes now, so I need to shut up right now. That's why I put number one on this, because I'm going to talk about this a few times. But, is it worth it? It was worth it for me in my career, right? But again, I was one of the fortunate people who was able to pass it. Now, that's not the only certification I have. I probably have 8 or 10 different certifications in my MBA and other stuff that I have done over my career. So it's not just that that's helped me to earn millions of dollars over my career, but obviously it helped me, right? Now, if I was one of those people, or this is why, again, I'm doing this video today, because a lot of times people that reach out to me are just starting. And 5 years ago, I would tell people, go for the CIA. It's great. You got to do that. You got to do that. I would encourage people to do that, right? But what I have found is I can't do that with good conscience anymore, because I talk to way too many people who spend thousands of dollars and years of their life and still don't get it. And so, because there are other options now, when I took it 20 years ago, there weren't these other certification options. Now there are, right? And so, now that the world is different, why would you want to go through and spend all that time and effort and money if you don't need to, right? If you can benefit your career, right? Like John said, I mean, he's earned 300,000 more probably because of his certification. I've earned literally millions of dollars, probably more, over my career because of my certifications. I had to put up the money, I had to put in the time, but over the course of my career, it's definitely paid off, right? So there you go. That's a little bit, like I said, I want to keep these too long. I'm going to do several different ones. Yeah, John was talking too about, when he and I took it a long time ago, it was still paper and pencil, right? You still had to fill out like the little bubble sheets and everything like that. And now a lot of people, it's electronic. And that's actually Majid. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Says too, many people get certifications as a student without any real practice. That's true too, right? I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who have lots of academic degrees and certifications, and they don't know what they're talking about. These other certifications that I was mentioning too are much more practical in nature, much more topical. So they actually help you do your job better, right? I don't have time today to probably get into the whole thing, but I'll do another video about actually what's on the CIA exam. Because what I will tell you is, for most people, and especially if you've been working in audit for a while, you will not learn anything new that helps you do your job any better by getting your CIA. That's unfortunately the reality of it, because it's very theoretical, it's very academic, and most of it is all about, how it's just you memorizing the standards from IIA, which you can read them a few times and you know how to audit. You don't need to have a certification. That's not going to help you do your job better. It will help you, right? Certifications do help you get better jobs. They do help you get that next job. They do help you get promoted, right? And so you do need that on your career. And literally, actually, this week, podcast that I did was called the $2 million career mistake. And maybe I'll try to put it in the links here. I forgot to put it above, but literally, not investing in yourself, not getting some sort of a certification can literally, right, have a $2 million impact on your overall career earnings. That's a lot of money, right? So you need something, you got to do something. But like I said, CIA might be right for you, but one of these other certifications might be a much better option for you that will still get you the promotion. It will still get you making more money without having to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars in years of your life, right? Lynn says too, the CIA is all about the standards, not about practice. Totally agree with her on that, right? That's one of the reasons why Sea Risk Academy came up with several different certifications, but the one is certified practitioner in internal audit, right? So it's more practical in nature about how you're actually doing your job, instead of just all being academic and about the standards. So, all right, I'm gonna cut it off. We've still got people watching live, so I know since I'm doing this live, if people have questions, actually, I'll hang on for just a second. If anybody has any questions. But like I said, I'm planning to do some other videos here over the next week or so, that dig into this more, because like I said, there's a lot of things people are telling you, and like I said, I'm not saying that people are lying, but I don't think they're telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and you deserve to have the whole truth. Okay. Yeah, John says too, which is about, he says, I agree. CIA is not recognized by some. Here's the interesting thing, folks. You can go out and look at job postings. Most of the time, the job postings don't even mention CIA. If they mention anything in audit, a lot of times they're still referencing CPA, which again, CPA, I'm a certified public accountant myself. It's relevant, but not relevant for most of the internal audit work that's done, but it's just a carryover. And so even though the CIA has been around for, I don't know, 40, 50 years, it's still not as recognized as what the IA would like it to be, right? So the reality is it's not the only thing to get, right? And if you have something on your resume that's a certificate or a certification, that's the hoop you have to jump through, right, to be able to help you get the new job. It doesn't matter whether it's CIA, CPIA, CRBIA. There's another one, called QIAL or QIA, not QIAL, but QIA. There's several. There's about 10 or 15 on Sea Risk Academy itself. But like I said, Sea Risk Academy isn't the only place either, right? I'm talking about those because obviously I'm familiar with those. But there are other audit certifications besides what Sea Risk offers, besides what IIA offers, right? Love you to help, pick a Sea Risk one. But if something else is more relevant for you, then do something else, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to give you information so you can make the best decision for your career, because I'm tired of having people literally cry on the phone with me because they have spent years and they feel like a failure and they don't know what to do, right? Yeah, Wynham, you probably need CIA and a few other things to make that $2 million difference. Well, that's why I have the differences. But actually, if you think about this, even one or two certifications can make that much of a difference in your career salary. So again, on the podcast episode, I talk about it more, but especially when you're talking about some of the promotions being 10, 20, $50,000 more. So let's take, for example, if you got a promotion to manager, director, CAE level for an extra 50 or 100,000 a year, right? And a lot of times moving to the CAE level, it is $100,000 a year difference from what it was at the director level. At $100,000 a year, it doesn't take you too many years to get pretty close to the $2 million, right? If you're a CAE for 10 years, earning $100,000 a year more than you would have at the director level, that's $1 million right there, right? And that's just for one position difference for a 10-year factor. But like I said, for a lot of people, especially if you're starting and you're doing this earlier in your career and you're making the moves that you need to, you're getting that, then what it does is it does over the course of your career end up making millions of dollars of difference in what you're able to earn. And again, what would an extra million, or even if it's $500,000, right? What would another $500,000 over your lifetime do for you and your family? A lot, right? It wouldn't buy a house here in California, but it would a lot of places in the world, right? And so it's there. It's there if you want to do it, right? So anyway, I probably should head off because I know we're at almost 27 minutes now. But thanks everybody for listening. Like I said, I'm going to keep coming back. If you've got questions, comment below. Send me a direct message because I just want to make sure that everybody who's out there has the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? Because a lot of people waste a lot of time. A lot of people waste a lot of money on something that they never end up getting. And so again, I don't know what the numbers would be, but if only 40% of the people are passing at any given time, there have literally been hundreds of thousands of people who have started the CIA, have paid money to training companies, have paid money to the IIA, and never got the certification. And to me, I think that's horrible, right? But anyway, get off my high horse. I'm going to get back to what else I need to get going with today. But thanks everybody for listening, and there will be more to come.